Octopus Gloves here, and this is another Sounds Like video, and this is a request for vocal chops. I am trying to emulate, or actually I haven't even done it yet, so I'll play a preview for you real quick of the end product right now.
Wait, you are, 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 wait, you are.
So I'm trying to emulate Jay Hardaway, Wake Up, those type of vocal chops with some pitch bends and some things. So I literally just opened up FL Studio just now and recorded just a fast, dry thing. And as I said, I haven't done anything yet. I hope the sample was something you were looking for, or the in view, or the in preview. So I'll play you the dry sample real quick. Wait, you ought to wait. Wait, you ought to wait. So as you can see, it is a wonderful, best sample ever. There's some noise in the background. That's just my other computer. It's doing stuff right now, and so the fan's on high. So I'm just gonna deal with that. But if you get a better sample, the same techniques will apply. So we're gonna assign it to a mixer track. Actually, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna open up New Tone. So go to your effects slot and New Tone, or any other vocal editor you have, and we're just gonna do some general editing. So you drag your sample into New Tone. And New Tone's great. It's just an auto pitch correcting. You can do all sorts of things. Sort of like Melodyne, if you've ever heard of that. It's to fix things. I'm just gonna center it all so it's perfectly on some note. And then I'm also going to take all the variation out. Actually, I'm going to take out most of the variation, which is when your voice goes like, ah, that up and down pitch, it's going to reduce that. If you go all the way down, it'll just flatten the notes completely. Wait, you ought to wait. So there's some stuff, but I'm not going to get rid of all of it. That way it sounds sort of natural. Wait, you ought to wait. Another nice thing is you can take samples, pieces of the sample, because you see it auto detects everything, and you can move them around. So I'm going to move everything to some sort of a key. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. We're going to move it to at least be in C major. See what it sounds like. Wait, you ought to wait. 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 Wait, you ought to wait. So it sounds a little fake, but ideally your singer has saying something that you want it to sound like. And also, you're going to be pitching the sample anyway, so you don't care. So we're going to drag this out, and it will form a second audio clip with a crazy name. And I'm against these crazy names, so I like to rename my stuff. Waits version 2. Okay. So we went from this. Wait, you ought to this. Wait, you ought to substantially more fake, but we're not going for realism here because we're going to be chopping stuff up. And I like to work when I'm doing something like this. Since I'm just doing it from out of my head, I like to work with some sort of a rhythm going on. Actually, you know what? Let's just pull a drum loop out. That's a quick fix for stuff like this. And I like to get my drum loops from Black Octopus. It's just my go-to drum loops. And loops, drums, we'll make it 128 beats per minute. Oh yeah, I like that one. Wait, you are. So now we see, now we're going to start the chopping. And ideally, part of this you'll leave alone. So they, in their track, I noticed, we're going to turn this down. I just want it in the background as some sort of place to draw inspiration from. They had a track at a specific tempo and they were singing, and so only parts of it were chopped. So perhaps maybe this first part was the only part that was wait, you are. And then because we didn't sing it in a tempo, or at least I didn't sing it in a tempo, we're going to need to do some editing magic. Wait, you are. Wait, you are. Wait, you are to. And so I specifically drew out ah because I was specifically going for chopping, but Otherwise, you'd have to hunt for a spot that'd be good for pitching. So you're kind of looking for those moments that have long vowels like ah and oo and e. But anyways, so we're gonna pitch this part specifically. To wait, and we're gonna fix this a little bit. To wait, and we'll say, oh yeah, we're happy with that rhythm. So we're gonna take wait, and there's a variety of ways you can do this. I'm gonna make this unique as a sample and name it and you can go into something called SliceX, which is a chopping plugin. So open up SliceX. It looks like this, and it's great for chopping things. And what you can do is open up your which is now a separate sample. So when I made it unique as a sample and saved it, I saved it as like an entirely separate sample, like it's been isolated from the rest. And I can drop it in SliceX. And the nice thing is, if we go to our piano roll on SliceX, it has it there, and our sample's been mapped. That's where marker 1 is. You could rename marker 1 to be and now in our piano roll, it is But so this is essentially to always map it to middle C, and so we have we want to go Let's say we want to do that. So you need to get the rhythm first. So the rhythm must be mapped on the original key. How do you change the pitch though? Because right now we just have 3 ahs. The way you do that is through slide notes. And you make your slide notes super, super short. So it essentially, and the way I'm changing this is I'm just holding down Alt and dragging. And because my slide note is so short, it will sound like it's just singing that note because it's just that short. So we want to, and then this last one will be the A. So these are slide notes. Make sure they're slide notes. And so now we should have something like this. And this is also, you can, because it's a slide note, you can draw on more slide notes, and you can have a pitch bend go down maybe to like a G. And as you can see, now we're starting to get something similar, more similar to what they had. And we're gonna go down to a G. No, I like the A. And now we can get rid of and put in our pattern 1. And it's kind of fast, so we don't have a rhythm exactly what we want. We want it to be So we'll go over here, move this that way. And when we have that playing in our track now, wait, you to wait, and away you go, and you start making things happen. So that's the essentials of it. You could do something else. You could load up SliceX, and you could, if you have your thing all edited and it's in time and you record it so that it's all one audio file, you could open up your audio file and drag it into SliceX. Wait, and it automatically has all these markers mapped out, and you would move these markers around and change them as you want. But if you go into our thing right here, so let's mute this guy, and we play it, wait, you wait to, and it has all our pieces. So we could choose a variety of different things, like and try and make something interesting. Let's see if we can get some inspiration real fast. And let's change the cell to half step. To wait. And so maybe we're doing something funkier than normal. Maybe we're doing some sort of electro funk. I don't know. And we want, so these things are kind of singing their notes that they were on though, and we want to change that. Well, these notes are still C1 up to F6. So these notes are still there. So you could still pitch bend to them, for example. So we know we want C. Oh, this is just me opening my mouth. And on the slide notes, if you drag a slide note over, if you're familiar with slide notes, this is in my FL Studios Making Your First Song videos. If they're not up yet, they'll be up real soon. And I I talk about how slide notes behave. So if you're wondering how slide notes behave, you can go watch the one on the piano roll. And I believe it's near the middle of the video. And so we know that we want it to be a C. And we'll go to an A sharp. No, an A. Back to a C. Two. And so you get that. Now, what they had going on was something. Now, so they had a few other things going on just to kind of sell it. And it was mostly mixing at this point. So you know how to make the vocal chops. And I personally think this is a pretty effective way to do it. But let's really quick just polish it up some. And you could have chords and building up behind it. It's all sorts of nifty little things. Wait, you are to wait. And let's just make it sound full. Wait, you are to wait. I like that more. And wait, you are wait. It'd be wise to send your SliceX to the same track that you're sending your vocal stuff to. So if you make a mix and change to your vocals, your SliceX, your sliced vocals will also get that. And or you could route it to like track 7, and we're routing our vocals to track 6, and we could route track 7 only into track 6. That way it goes through separate processing if we want. So we could rename this SliceX. And it would then go through the processing of our vocals so it'd still fit and mix together well. That's another way of going about it. But let's just apply some general EQ. Wait, 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 wait. Do. Wait, you are wait. I mean, we're probably gonna have some sort of bass going on at some point here. And you don't want to have like a ton of low end necessarily at the beginning. I don't know. It depends on your track, what you're looking for doing. Wait. And let's go through and add a chorus would sound interesting. But let's do some reverb. That's like the big one. Instantly makes it sound like better. When you are, when you are, wait. And what would be neat is if you recorded this with reverb and then SliceX'd the reverb so that the reverb changes with your slicing. If you follow that. What I mean is you apply reverb to your original take, then you put it in the SliceX. That way the reverb gets pitch changed with the slicing. So, whoops, I didn't want to do that. This is a big mixer. Wait, you are wait. So, wait. I guess we'll add in a few other chords just to kind of make the effect a little more real. And the preview that I'm going to put up a little more impressive. So, let's add a harmor. Do. And let's turn the low pass on, the unison up, and the reverb on, and leave it, and the chorus on. I guess we'll leave the, oh no, we'll move the low pass on as we work. So we'll add it, and I know that we're going from C to A. And this is going to be a softer sound. It's going to be in the background. Wait. And we'll bandpass this. That'd be kind of cool. And then to A minor. I mean, all right, we could match that rhythm. That'd probably be even cooler. When we'll go. When you are. When you are. When you are wait. When you are dun. When wait. What was the exact rhythm I had over here? Oh, it's a weird rhythm. Okay. Let's see if I can emulate that now. When you are
when you are when you are away.
Dun, dun, dun.
Away.
That's the rhythm. We'll make this way lower.
Away. Away. When you are
And we could distort the harmor.
when you are away.
And layer that in. And we'll make the filter on the harmor band pass. Band stop, band pass. Create an automation clip. Move the frequency around.
When you when you are 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 when
And yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. And we could even repeat it. So we have our pattern here. Repeat it. And on the second go around, we could have, well, in a song, you'd need to introduce more. You'd have to give the listener time to adjust, but let's just say they have had all the time in the world to adjust. And now we've got something like this.
when you are
And you could just repeat it a bunch because that's what you do with vocal chops. But you could also obviously vary it, doing little small changes as you go. Makes it sound really cool and a lot more interesting.
when you are when you are when you are when you are
And there you have it. And if we wanted to, we can make this unique and go up and go up to D and then go up to a G.
when you are when you are when you are when you are
And, you know, I think we could even dump more reverb on these vocals because we have the power.
when you are when you are when you are when
And then we have weird notes, but you just move your slide notes around to change things. Going super high may not be ideal.
when you are when
And that's pretty cool. So this is just vocal chopping 101 and creating those interesting melodies. Obviously, each sample would be slightly different, but that's the general methodology behind it. And that's essentially how every vocal chop, I mean, I can't really think of anything else they do besides resampling at this point. And when you get into resampling, it gets crazy. Like, we could take our vocals and we could slightly push them off a bit like this, but it would and so that's one thing you could do to make it, give it even more detail. Move them slightly off. Whoops. You hold down control and click your track to do that, by the way. That's not in the basic series, but it should have been. You should be able to detect that from the piano roll, though, because the piano roll behaves the same way.
when you are when you
And then on
are
our we could put chorus. I guess now we're getting more detailed. Chorus, 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 chorus.
when you are when you
If you don't know what chorus is, I have there are videos in several places that explain effects and the general ways effects worked. And so I just explained it there. Choruses can be done a number of ways, but usually they clone your audio through a feedback loop that's really fast and change the pitch just slightly to create an effect like a chorus.
when you are when
And I think that should be like an octave lower. And so we would need a slide note on the A as well. So we'll go down to B3 and add a slide note. These itty bitty notes, that's like the one thing I don't like about doing it this way.
when you
No, I
when
don't dig that. Never mind. So we're going to go back to our original.
when you
You
are
could
when
also, as a note for resampling, you could vocode it. If you don't know what vocoding is, don't worry. And that's like a whole separate process, but vocoding it would sound pretty cool. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do vocoder. I feel like doing just everything we can possibly do to this. So at this point, we're pitching it. So, okay, vocoding is like this crazy process, but let's say we want to just vocode our SliceX. So we'd route it to this track only and route this track into this track only if you want to receive the same mixing, and then this track goes to the master. Why did I just do that? Well, let's rename this the vocoder. And the way a vocoder works is we're going to use something called VocodX, which is right. It looks like this. And the way a vocoder works is you have two signals being sent into it. One's the modulator and the other's the carrier. The modulator changes the carrier, and the carrier kind of just takes on traits of the modulator in layman's terms. So let's talk about how to set this up. So we need a synthesizer because we're going to make it sound like a synth. And now let's add a harmer. And obviously there's like an endless amount of, where's my harmer? There's an endless amount of variables. Obviously there's like an endless amount of ways that you can do this and set it up. You can have all any kind of modulator, any kind of carrier. We're going to make our carrier, just a sec, send harmer to a mixer track and route it only to vocoder. That way it doesn't come out our master because we don't want to hear harmer. And so it sees the two inputs and it has them listed right here. And we want to set our modulator to be harmer and our carrier to be SliceX because that's where our voice is. And now if we play it as is now, there's the pattern. There's nothing. That's because it needs both pieces of audio pretty much need to be happening for you to hear anything. So we're going to put in our notes. You can hear kind of a little buzzy sound. Whoops. We don't want porta. We just want regular notes. Make this, whatever, it's good enough. As you see, we have that. Now this would sound cooler lower. And the vocoder. So what it's doing is it's taking the attributes of our sine wave. So we could change this, or this is actually a saw wave, and change the input, and it will alter the way our voice is being altered, if that makes sense. This is affecting this. So we can distort it. And there are more timbral changes now. You're just changing timbre. If we turn it on to pluck, it's really weird. You get, because things don't behave the way you would necessarily expect them to. But it's more advanced principles. But that's another thing you could do. To create some interesting effects. So that's over your head. Don't stress about it. You just need to learn what Vocoding does and the idea of a modulator and just all sorts of things. You could even get crazier and throw FM synthesis into this and do some really minor things that could make some pretty big effects, but I think I've done enough. So our end product is
when you are when you are when.
Oh, see, now our vocoder is gone here, and as a result, there's no sound. So we need to put our sound back, and we do different notes here. And we want this guy to be soft, and we'll make this guy the correct length. And we'll take them down an octave, and maybe we'll even clone them down an octave. So here's our final product, just for the preview at the beginning of this video.
When you are 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 when.
And that's pretty much it. You can see you can take a sample that sounds pretty bad and make it sound pretty good. Depending on, the style you're going for. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. Share this video with someone you think would appreciate it. I tried to toss in some things as I went that, people just generally don't think of, like, especially people who are newer and kind of looking for, how do they get those sounds. Like it if you think you did a good job. Dislike it if you think it's the worst thing you've ever heard. And have a blessed day.
Yeah.
Bye.